Coal ash has been in the news a lot lately. PWC's CEO and General Manager, Mr. David Trago, will provide some background on the topic and answer questions you may have about the situation.
Well, following the Dan River spill, the state of North Carolina instituted a set of laws and regulations related to cleaning up coal ash at all sites. And that included at that time Duke, Progress Energy, and also Dominion, that also serves a portion of North Carolina, that if they did have any coal ash, that they were required to clean it up under state law. Subsequent to that, the federal government also issued a set of guidelines and rules about making it a requirement that all utilities nationwide clean up their coal ash ponds and make them safe. As part of our rate structure and our agreement with Duke, we are required to share part of those costs. All of the wholesale customers of Duke, that includes us and a lot of other municipalities in the state of North Carolina, and most of the EMCs in the state, will be sharing in those costs. So the way in which the federal government would take a look at this, and this is at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, is they will determine whether or not those costs are prudent, whether they're accurate, and then they will allow those costs to be carried through and passed on to wholesale customers. The current estimate that Duke has publicly mentioned is statewide. It's going to cost roughly about $4.5 billion, and that's billion with a B. For the side of North Carolina that is the historic Progress Energy side, which is now Duke Energy Progress, it's about $2.5 billion. And what happens is Duke divides up those costs between their retail customers and their wholesale customers based upon the percentage of load which we take. Currently, if the $2.5 billion is accurate, PWC will have a total exposure that could get near $80 million. First, let me say that a lot of customers, and I've seen a lot of people in the community that said, why do we have to pay for Duke's coal ash? And again, it's the nature of our contract. And what customers have to realize is when there's an opportunity for us to get savings through our contract, and I'll just kind of mention that there were savings when Duke did the merger with Progress Energy, that our rates actually went down slightly because of that. So we get to enjoy the savings of that. But when there's a cost like this, we also have to share in the cost. So what the commissioners did a couple years ago was we created a reserve fund. It was called the CoalAsh Reserve Fund, where we put some money away in that fund to kind of lessen the one-time impact once Duke started to collect that money from PWC. So we're going to draw down that account over time, and also we're going to have to put a small charge on customers' bills to pay for that amount. Right now we're estimating that amount will be about $2 to $2.25 a month, probably through 2024. Well, next year the commissioners are going to be taking a look at electric rates, because we alternate. One year they take a look at water and sewer rates, and the next year they take a look at electric rates. So what we've proposed to the commissioners, and they've accepted, is when we take a look at our electric rates next year, we will include the coal ash costs, and we'll be able to refine that amount. Like I said, it's somewhere between $2 and $2.25. But as we get more perfect information, we'll be able to hone in on that amount and make a recommendation to the commissioners for a line item on the bill that will be reflective of our costs related to coal ash. Duke has estimated this. The cleanup is actually the majority of it is going to be done between now and 2024. And again, that's just an estimate. We're responsible to pay for actual costs, so those actual costs can go up or down. More importantly, the agreement that PWC has reached with Duke says that anything that the North Carolina Utility Commission disallows as far as costs, those savings will also be passed on to PWC as a wholesale customer. And that was a big concession from Duke, because normally, like I said, we're regulated through the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. And if North Carolina said, nope, we're only going to let you recover 80% of these costs, that would not be part of what FERC would consider. FERC could say, nope, you have to pay 100%. But our agreement with Duke allows us to enjoy any savings that are gathered at the state level. PWC has been working with Duke ever since the Dan River spill, and we've been in conversations with them about how to resolve this issue. We've had numerous, because it potentially could have been a litigated issue at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. We updated the commissioners throughout that process in closed sessions, so they were informed. I also provided a couple of updates for City Council related to the coal ash issue because they were concerned as well. So we tried to keep everybody informed that when we did come to what we felt was a fair agreement under this, to be able to bring it to the commissioners that they were well informed on the issue. So we felt that that was in the best interest of our customers. Well, we partnered with Electricities of North Carolina that represents all of the municipal utilities in the state of North Carolina, because we obviously had a vested interest in this. So we shared costs to keep our costs low in doing our due diligence in assessing what Duke was offering us. And we also worked with them to try to use the collective power of both agencies to kind of put as much pressure on Duke as we could to keep those costs low. And we've kept this in mind because over the past couple of years when we've had rate discussions with the commissioners, they have always had in the back of their mind that these coal ash costs were coming in. And I think when you take a look at the budget which we've proposed to the commissioners, if it was not for coal ash, our budget would actually be lower this year than it was in the previous year. So we've worked very hard to keep those costs down for customers and minimize the impact on their bills.